All right, I think we are at 2 minutes past, so we're going to go ahead and dive in. As I mentioned, today's session is a coffee chat, so it's meant to be somewhat casual and informal. Today, we'll be talking about success with the Mapbox ecosystem from PayGo to Premium. As we mentioned, PayGo is the pay-as-you-go model of using our products, which we'll go into in more detail here. Before we dive into the content, I just wanted to cover a few housekeeping items. So captions are available for you in multiple language. Susanna and I will be speaking English, but if you need the content in a different language, you're welcome to go ahead and turn that on the bottom of your screen, on the bottom of Zoom. Even if you want the captions in English, if that helps you, you're welcome to turn them on. Please do submit questions through the Zoom Q&A. We will have time at the end for questions, and it just makes it easier for us to collect them and make sure that we're answering your questions if you use that Zoom Q&A feature on the bottom bar as well. And today, for being here, you're entered for a chance to win some Mapbox swag. Every session that you participate in will give you an option to win that Mapbox swag. So please attend multiple. This is running all week. We've got great content scheduled through Friday, and you can go and find those additional sessions at mapbox.com/build. Now we're going to go ahead and jump in. My name is Leah Mikalinka. I'm a customer success manager here at Mapbox. I'll let Susanna introduce herself.
I'm Susana Siman. I am a technical program manager here at Mapbox.
And so today we will talk about success with the Mapbox ecosystem from PayGo to Premium. Working with Mapbox is an option for anyone, whether you're a fledgling startup, just an individual developer, or you're a Fortune 500 company. Mapbox has the options that'll fit your implementation needs and your implementation budget. And that's what we will be talking about today. We have our fully self-service implementation option. So you're welcome to go ahead and just get started implementing straight away independently using our free developer resources. This is the pay-as-you-go model, the PayGo model that we mentioned, and we'll talk about in a bit more detail. But essentially, you can just create a Mapbox account and start implementing straight away. This is available to everyone. It is recommended for experienced developers, as our products really require the developer expertise and a developer to implement. We have another option that would be assisted self-service. So with our essential or business support plans, you can get help from our support team when you need it. These are available to individuals and businesses. We'll get into the options a bit later. And this is recommended for developers who plan to implement quickly and appreciate support from expert Mapboxers. This just allows you an option to talk to an expert if and when you need it throughout the way.
And then if your map is really mission critical for your business, or you anticipate very high volume, we really recommend our premium support, where you'll get assigned expert Mapboxers who will help you manage your project and assist you with technical aspects along the way. We highly recommend this for businesses who are expecting a large launch, a big migration, or a technically complex feature delivery.
That's right. So one thing I want to be sure that we call out is that you will need to bring your own developers to Mapbox. So even with the guided implementation method and premium support, you will need your own developers to actively implement within your website or your mobile apps. The ideal developer for Mapbox knows how to manipulate and prepare spatial data and understands basic tenets of map and UX design. If you don't have the right type of developers, or maybe your developers are actively working on other projects, you can always go to our developer network on our website and be matched with a team of developers that you can contract to meet your needs in implementing Mapbox. There's a great option to search based on features and location, and you can see a bit about the team. So do be prepared to bring developers, whether your own or others that you contract for the Mapbox implementation. So first, we're going to start with the self-service Mapbox implementation and also the guided self-service. We've broken out the implementation into 5 phases. And if you're planning to implement self-serve or even with the guided self-serve option, the first phase of implementation should just be aligning on your use case. You need to know what you're wanting to implement within your website or app. So this slide links to a lot of our resources that are available on our docs site. That's available at mapbox.com. You can go and get started with Mapbox, which is a great tutorial that tells you how to get started, how to add data to your map. Also, you can check out our blog and our customer showcase to help get inspired and understand what other businesses like yours have done with Mapbox, and just be fully aware of all of the options that are available. You'll need to identify the frameworks that you'll develop on. So whether you're developing for web, whether you're developing for native apps or developing with React, just understand the types of developers that you'll need and the frameworks that you'll implement. A phased approach works fine too if you want to start with web and then later grow into your mobile app. Determine your project timeline. So understand your goals for going live with your solution and make sure that everyone on your team understands their part in the process and is aligned to the timing that you've set as well. Phase 2 would be project planning. So this is where you actually assemble your team to deliver the work. You'll need those developers to review developer docs. So our documentation site is robust and has a lot of different documentation and tools for you to use. Now that you understand your use case, go and take the detailed documentation for the APIs or services that you'll use to implement your end solution. This is also a great time to consider a support plan if you anticipate needing individualized technical support. So we'll get into a little bit more detail over what those support plans are later on, but this is a great time to go ahead and consider if you want to purchase a support plan and make sure that you have that guidance when you need it. Phase 3 is the build and test phase. So implement your solution, have your developers, actively make API calls and design your map. If you run into any trouble during this phase, I highly recommend you use our Ask AI assistant, which is available on your account dashboard when you log into your Mapbox account or linked throughout our docs site as well. That tool is great to leverage, and we'll talk a bit more about it in a moment, as well as our Mapbox Devs Discord. These are great ways to overcome any challenges or just even get some help with your code as you go. Avoid testing automation tools in this testing part of build and test phase because our pricing is based on usage. And so you want to be sure that you're using some automation that could really ramp the usage while you're in this test phase. Phase 4 would be launching and monitoring your solution. So this is when all the work that you've been putting in through the first 3 phases comes to fruition. You move your code to production and you've got a map or other solutions using Mapbox available to your customers. After you have moved your code to production, you want to be sure and monitor the usage of the Mapbox products and services you're using. This can be done from the Mapbox account dashboard right when you log in at mapbox.com. You also just want to use your own web analytics or app analytics tools to evaluate how users are interacting with the map and the features that you've rolled out using Mapbox. Also, take a look at any customer feedback channels that you have, whether that's surveys or even support channels, to see if there's any mention of these new features within those channels that can help you understand the way customers are using it and any optimizations that you might want to make. And then program maintenance is our final phase, phase 5. This is where your solution's live, you understand how customers are using it. By this point, you're already seeing the value of these solutions within your application or website. But over time, you may have the need to update the maps as the data changes. You want to stay informed of Mapbox product releases and new features that we're putting out there. This is particularly relevant if you're using any of our mobile SDKs. And you want to adopt those to adopt new features and functionality. You should always be sort of thinking of how to enhance the solution, make it deliver more value for your business, and just staying on top of the releases and new versions is a great way to do that. So this is sort of the self-service method of implementing with Mapbox. I mentioned that we have a variety of resources available on the Mapbox documentation site. So this is kind of an overview and some images of that site. This is a great place to go review code. We have API playgrounds available. So when you're in that early phase of planning, you can go take a look at actual code examples, borrow code for your own solution, as well as play with these API playgrounds and understand how the APIs work while you're determining which you want to use. We've got tutorials, how-to videos that provide you step-by-step guidance on how to implement via self-service, a geospatial.io tool, as well as a location helper. And, as I mentioned, the Ask AI and Mapbox devs that can really help you overcome challenges as you're implementing.
Thanks, Leah. So as Leah mentioned, we do have paid technical support options. We have 3 different options to really accelerate your implementation. So the first one is an individual plan to give you one-on-one guidance when you're already familiar with our documentation. This guidance, this is about $50 a month and really gets you one email and someone answering all of your questions, right? The second option is business support, which allows everyone on your team access to submit tickets to our technical support engineering team. This is a great option if you have multiple emails that you'd like to use to be getting more and more support. For individuals who, as I mentioned, need more and have a mission critical map is mission critical for their business. This is where we would really want to meet with you and talk about your needs and your pricing there. So let's get a little bit deeper. So we showed you all of our options, but now let's talk about what's available for each one. So from developer to, which is at no charge, to individual to business support, you'll always have access to all of our self-serve resources. With the paid support plan, you'll receive answers to your questions from our technical support team. Based on the plan you choose, your response times will be different for higher priority tickets. We mentioned that premium support is the best option for customers with mission critical use cases. You'll get a repository to share code with your dedicated Mapbox technical solutions engineer, and you're eligible for a technical program manager if you are launching something, have a big migration, need someone to support you from end to end. And we'll align that to your active implementation program. Business support is a minimum recommended if you have business necessary production environments. That map is maybe not mission critical, but very important to your business. If you are, for example, an on-demand logistics company, premium support is for you, as you'll want to ensure quick response times in case of an emergency. You want to make sure that if something goes wrong with your map and your business really relies on that map, that you have that 24/7 support and that there's always someone there available to prioritize your tickets, your issues, anything that you might need support with. Now, let's say you're a business with maps and you're on your premium customer and you have a TPM assigned to your project. A TPM is a technical program manager. The phases that we would use to take you through an implementation would be, at the beginning, would have that customer kickoff, make sure that we're able to prepare our internal teams to serve your needs, align on documented agreements between Mapbox and the customer, define the size and the scope of the program. So making sure that we know what your needs are, what we need to deliver, and everyone is aligned on that. Then we really set up the program well in phase 2. We want to create the right infrastructure from the start. So we're talking about, what tools are we getting all of us on? Do we have all the right mechanisms in place to overcome any difficulties? How are we planning to escalate any issues? Making sure that we have all the right stakeholders, right? Then we go into ongoing program management and ensure the project remains on track. A lot of what our work is as technical program managers is making sure that we're mitigating any risks ahead of time, and getting all of the support internally from Mapbox engineering as necessary. Then, we're detailing a launch process. We're getting ready for you to launch and track any customer feedback. And we're providing you with all the visibility as to what to expect before, during, and after the launch. After launch, we focus on adoption. So this can involve post-production updates, expanding your existing use case. And here you're really working with the entire customer engagement team to make sure that we've closed out the program, or that you're getting any additional support that you may need. We continue to explore opportunities with your account team and enhance your solution with any additional functionalities or upgrades.
And so I think that was all that we had planned for today. Let's see if there's some questions in the chat. I don't see that we have any shared just yet.
Yeah, ready to answer any questions about any level of support.
Susanna, if you don't have any questions from the guests, I guess, are there any questions that you get frequently for your team of TPMs? What are some of the questions that our customers have for your team?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our customers like to know, what type of support can they expect from the technical program manager? And really this what we offer is, if you're going to have a major launch with Mapbox or any major feature delivery, we have, someone that is assigned from beginning to end of that. So you should expect someone who becomes basically an extension to your team and supports you along the way to make sure that internally everything is in a good place to be delivered and to go well. And also these are TPMs are across a lot of our customers, so we can foresee some of the things that might happen after launch, so we can just start preparing you for and talk about, how do we get ahead of some of these issues. And we really have an extremely collaborative relationship with our customers to make sure that they feel supported, and also that they're giving us insights that could improve our platform moving forward.
That's awesome. I think we did have a question from Elias. Elias was asking, is there a minimum time period required for paid developer tier? So Elias, going back to those different tiers of support that we have, there is no true minimum for the individual plan. It is billed monthly, so it's billed monthly with no commitment. So if you were to cancel within the first month, you would just forgo another pay period. Individual support is meant for one developer, and so as an individual, you can purchase that plan and not have a commitment beyond a month. You can have that monthly billing and cancel at any time. With business and premium, we would have a year-long commitment to those two options. And your premium would typically be aligning to your contract length of your contract with Mapbox. Susanna, you're welcome to say more about that.
Yeah, with premium, there's always a contract involved, and usually, it's a year long, or it could be longer depending on your needs. And that's something that's why we say, let's talk, because every customer has different needs here. But you immediately get a dedicated technical support engineer with this option, and then you would have eligibility for a technical program manager. And what that means is not every premium support customer is going to launch something big. But when they do have something, we have someone available to make sure that we're supporting you along the way.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I am focused on the pay-as-you-go customer, so the more self-service customer. And I love the flexibility of the individual plan if you're in that boat, because you really can purchase it to make sure that you're able to get that assistance while you're implementing. And then, if later your solution's live, you can cancel it and not have to continue that support plan. Let's see, another question. What are the biggest things like products and services you've worked on as a TPM? Susanna, I think that would be you.
Elaborate a little bit more. I'm not sure what biggest things mean. So like products and services in terms of, we've done, I guess, we've done everything from delivering a new feature for an on-demand logistics company to rolling out new vehicle navigation systems. And so it can really be a little bit of everything. I think that's my favorite part about being a TPM, is that you just get extremely interesting use cases, and you're always kind of getting in the mind of the customer and figuring out how do we really make sure that we use all of our internal teams and expertise to really get not only the customer what they need, but get a lot of insights of how we can improve our products as well.
Thanks, Susanna. I think we had another question from Luke. I've really enjoyed the new tutorials on your YouTube channel with the release of Mapbox 3.0. Do you have plans to release more content or update some of the older tutorials? That is a great question, Luke. And it gives us a great opportunity to shout out our developer relations team. So absolutely, we will be releasing more content. We will be updating content. We have a team of folks who makes the docs site and all of these resources that are available to you. It's their whole job to maintain these and put out new content. So we always have things that we're working on to put out in terms of new resources. We're always updating existing content. If you're ever on our documentation site and you feel like something needs an update, you can submit feedback directly from the resource that you're looking at, and that'll cue our dev relations team to go take a look, see if there's something that might be in need of the update. So we source those updates and new content just from our own roadmap, and then from requests that we receive as well when people submit feedback on existing resources. So yeah, I appreciate that you're using the YouTube channel. We have upped our video content game in this year as well, so you can expect to see more of those, Luke.
And I know we asked what kind of user everyone is, but I'm interested in what attracted you specifically to this Q&A and this coffee chat, and maybe we can get some questions from that.
Yeah, we do have a bit more time. So if you had a question in mind that you didn't have addressed through the content we prepared, please let us know. We'll do our best to address it right now. Brent Riley asked, can you elaborate a little more on what is needed to be a successful Mapbox developer? I have many years of GIS experience, but I want to make the jump to development. This is actually a great question for Susanna. Susanna has a very similar path to you, Brent.
Yeah, Brent, I'm right there with you. I have a background in GIS before I joined Mapbox as well. I would say, yeah, it definitely takes it takes a little bit more. Like I think GIS experience will definitely help you understand the Mapbox ecosystem, but I would definitely recommend going through our tools and going through our existing tools and seeing, if any of it feels, like a bit like if you're able to get through it, and if you do have any issues basically getting through it and having like just have a lot of questions around there, then it might be something that you need to work with a developer to get your solution. So I guess it depends on what you're trying to accomplish with us. And I think we have a lot of tools available that you can already go through. I'd say I went through a lot of when I was going through it myself, I went through a lot of the existing tools and then realized that I kind of hit a halt where I was like, I think I need to learn a little bit more here. And that was kind of my sign of like, okay, either dig a little deeper and go deeper, or I need to work with a developer.
Yeah, and I think that I've met other customers and colleagues who had a similar path. If you've got the GIS knowledge, a lot of the Mapbox tools would be a good overlap with that, especially Studio, using Studio to design maps. The developer portion of it is not something that we, knowing how to host a website or how to, put content onto a website isn't explicitly covered in our documentation. So that might be the skill gap to bridge. It's just the developer side of the coin. But I
Exactly.
think we've got a lot of great resources that can help get you started. And with like a little independent research on just web dev, you could pick it up as well. I do see that there's another question that was how long do folks, let's see, or understanding cost of materials from Mark. Understanding cost of materials, Google Maps may not be the way forward. So I'm not sure if that's a full question, Mark, but it sounds like you're asking about what cost would be with Mapbox. I don't know if you had a chance to attend a session earlier this morning on scaling your business with Mapbox. We talked in detail about the pay-as-you-go model and the fact that you can try most of our products here at Mapbox, with the exception of just a very few, on this pay-as-you-go model and receive a generous free tier. So oh, Mark is saying that's not a question. That's why Mark is here. But yeah, we can.
Oh, yeah.
The cost of materials with Mapbox would be, just based on the volume that you expect for your solution. Really, anyone can get started for free. You can purchase a support plan to help you get started and help you along the way. And then your expected spend will align with the usage for the solution you implement. I think that there is a question of how long do folks stay on paid support plans? So I want to be clear that the only support plan that is flexible and does not come with the annual commitment is the Essential, which is the $50 a month, and it's meant for one individual developer. So obviously you could have multiple developers purchase the individual plan. That one has no long-term commitment. But if you're looking at business support for your whole organization or premium support to be able to work really closely with some of our experts, those do have the minimum annual commitment and would be at least on the premium side part of your contract with Mapbox as well. Let's see. Do we have any other questions? It looks like Mike is a developer and private investigator looking at JavaScript GPS tracking platforms. Very cool. So exploring Mapbox and all of our options using JavaScript. Maps GLJS is our most popular product for our pay-as-you-go model of users. So there's a lot of resources, Mike, for you to go take a look at code examples, tutorials, a lot, especially for web JavaScript product. And I'm sure you could get started. We'd love to hear your feedback as you go. I think we've got just a couple more minutes. If there are no other questions, we could probably start wrapping up the session. But I hope this has been helpful for you in understanding your options with Mapbox, whether you want to get started independently and seek out the support that you need as you find you're needing it, that's fine. Or if you want to talk to one of our sellers about your options for premium support and for contracting your usage, that's a great option for you as well. But this has been great to get to hear some of the questions and use cases that you have with Mapbox. I think we're going to end a couple minutes early, but we appreciate you being here and for being such an active and engaged audience. And we hope to cross paths with you along the way as you're working with Mapbox in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.